Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes soloing the Stalker. We are level 26, 99,000 XP to go to get to level 27 and our next set of single origin enhancers with Dark Phantom, who is our a dark melee energy aura Stalker. We're completing our mission automatically for Laura Bernetti because I couldn't find the last glowy. I could have tried to redo the mission, but really I wasn't in any mood to do that. I'll do any mission once, but I didn't necessarily want to do it multiple times, even though I do like the Scroll of Tielekku story arc. I don't necessarily need to do the missions over and over again, especially when it's something like I can't find the glowy because they didn't bother to put the white asterisk at the end of the mission like they do in every other mission. It's funny that the developers recognize the annoyance of looking for that last glowy, and they put the white asterisk in like 95% of missions, but there are still some missions that they didn't put it in for some bizarre reason. We're just going to talk to Laura Bernetti right here since she's right here. We don't need to call her when she's just around the block. And now we're going to rescue the Coldwell heirs from the Banished Pantheon. The heirs had some part of the Scroll of Tielekku with them or something like that. And so now we have to rescue them. Right, so if we look at the storyline, what? Crown of Glory isn't done yet? Oh no, we have the right in the middle of it. If we look at the clues, back to this. Scroll of Tielekku, right? Um, our contact was proposed by Dr. Chang, a renowned mystic, who said that he might be able to translate the scroll. In order to do so, he would need to reference materials that were currently in the hands of the Circle of Thorns, and we got hold of that, right? And now, while we were helping Dr. Chang, the Colville estate manager hasn't been able to get either of the heirs. Banished Pantheon are interested in the scroll. That was part of their estate, so they might be attacking them, right? So that's what we're saying. The Caldwell estate owned or had possession at one point of the scroll of Tielekku. So now we're going to head over there. So we're going to try to finish up both story arcs today. And then I'll start working on finding another story arc for us. I'm not sure which one we're going to do. I've been doing both of these, so I haven't really been thinking about that too much. It's December and the Steam is having its winter sale on like strategy games and stuff. And so there's this guy on YouTube, just like I am a guy on YouTube. He's got quite a bigger audience than I do, but he's probably my age or maybe a bit older or younger, but he's been around the block a few times. Uh, Quite charismatic on screen, really interesting guy, and he's a huge fan of board war games, like tabletop war games. And I was a huge fan of these as well. By the way, these guys are the Devouring Earth, so they are evil plant creatures. Um, I got my first. I mean, I used to like games like Stratego and Risk and stuff like that. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these board games that have like counters, and the counters have multiple like numbers and letters on them that signify certain things. And um, many of these were made by the Avalon Hill Game Company and its subsidiary Victory Games. And these include games like Gulf Strike and Second Fleet and Sixth Fleet and Fifth Fleet and things like that. The very first one of these that I ever got was called NATO, The Next War in Europe. And that game was obviously about basically World War III breaking out in Europe. And you could either take the Warsaw Pact, Soviet bloc countries, or you could take the NATO countries, and there were three scenarios. Was it strategic surprise, tactical surprise, and extended buildup? And it was three different scenarios of how surprised NATO was going to be when the Soviets decided to invade. And I liked extended buildup because it basically was a full-on slugging match between NATO and the Warsaw Pact, and they were about equally matched. Um, In the other scenarios, the Warsaw Pact had achieved either strategic surprise, which is really completely surprised them, or tactical surprise, which is, well, they kind of knew you were going to attack but didn't know when and where, right? Strategic surprise is we had no idea you were going to attack at all, right? Tactical surprise is, well, we thought you might attack and we were kind of sort of ready that you might attack, but we didn't know where you were going to attack us, right? And then the extended buildup is nobody's surprised at all because we've been building up for months and everybody's known that this war is coming and it's not a surprise at all, right? And so I didn't like the tactical surprise and strategic surprise scenarios because they gave such a material advantage to the Soviet Union. Now, the way the game was designed was it accounted for that, right? So in the strategic surprise scenario, you were not going to be able to stop the Soviet Union from conquering parts of West Germany because they were invading West Germany, right? From East Germany. You were probably not going to be able to stop them from taking part of West Germany. But it was considered a victory for NATO if the Soviet Union only got, say, half, because they had such an advantage in the build-up phase that they should have been able to take the whole country over. And if they don't, then you did a pretty good job, right? You did the best you could have done in that circumstance, right? And then the tactical surprise, basically, if you only lost a couple cities, that was pretty much a victory for NATO, right? Just a couple border cities, right? You might lose Berlin and a couple of border cities, and if you just lost that, maybe that was a victory. I don't remember all the victory conditions. And then extended buildup, basically, whichever side took the other side over, more cities on the other side was going to win, right? You got victory points for that stuff, and you kept track of the victory points, and it was very cool. It was very complicated. And I remember I learned the rules. I played the game by myself multiple times to learn the rules. And then I was never able to get my friends to play it with me. It's a long game. It takes like 6-7 hours to play. I would set it up in my room and leave it set up and play it like, a couple turns at a time. And always wanted NATO to win. And because, that was my side, right? I'm from the United States and we're NATO. So I couldn't convince most of my friends to play it. I did get the good Rob and another friend of mine named Alvin to agree to try it. Like, I think we were in 10th grade or something, and I got them to agree to it. And what they agreed was they were going to come over to my house like the day after school ended. Right, like the literal day after school ended, they were going to come to my house, and this is our first hostage here. They were going to come to my house, and they were going to come over at like noon, and they were going to eat, or even 11 in the morning. They were going to eat lunch at my house, and we were going to play till 6. Right, and the idea was it would give us hours and hours and hours to play this game. And since I had experience with it and I had played the game before, I didn't think it would be fair for me to play one of them, so I said, you guys can team up against me, right? And, I'll take NATO because it's harder to play NATO. The Warsaw Pact in all three scenarios has a tactical or strategic advantage. Even extended buildup, they have a bit of an advantage. And I think I even said, we'll play tactical surprise, so that gives you a little more of an advantage. And I did spend some time teaching them the game. And Alvin had played other Avalon Hill games and was claimed to be very excited, but he was super unreliable. He played Champions with us. I think we played his character more than he did. He only played his character a few times. I remember he played her as being like very sarcastic and sort of extroverted, and we all played her as like this demure introverted character. Like, nobody knew she was sarcastic because he hadn't played her enough. And we were like, that's not how she acts. And he was like, yes, it is. And we're like, well, it's not how we've been playing her, because we didn't know, right? Because he wasn't there enough to play her. So unfortunately, that day after, were these guys ambushing us? Probably. That day after school, only Rob came over, right? The good Rob. And he played it with me, and I kicked his butt. He decided he wanted to play extended build-up, and I was like, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah, it seems like the most fair scenario, so we both have a fair shot." And I was like, "Okay." And he took he took Warsaw Pact because they do technically have a bit of a military advantage, and I just kicked his butt because I had solo played the game, oh, I don't know, 6 or 7 times at that point, and he had never played it. So that was my first introduction. What's going on here? How many ambushes do you guys have? Um, oh, I see. There's so many of them because there's a Death Shaman. So some of them were summoned. Of course I missed him with the big bit. Okay, like we need some endurance, so let's grab some. There we go. Yeah, he summons more. You're a pain in the neck. Again, I feel like because with player characters, any summoned creatures go when you go unconscious, the same thing should happen here. They shouldn't be able to hang around while he's gone. They should all collapse. Anyway, so that was the only time we played, and I was stupid, right? Because I beat Rob's pants pretty badly, and what I learned later as I got older and was teaching people other games is that you really don't want to do that, right? When you're teaching somebody a game for the first time, you don't want to kick their butt because it leaves a bad taste in their mouth, and then they don't want to play it. And so I could never get Rob to play NATO again. Alvin never came over to play NATO, and I never played it. However, loved that game, and I thought it was really cool. And I got catalogs from Avalon Hill, and I was interested in a lot of their other games. One of the games that I got eventually also from Victory Games, which again is a subsidiary of Avalon Hill that made a lot of like modern war games, was Second Fleet. I believe it was because there was also Sixth Fleet and Fifth Fleet, but I believe it was Second Fleet, and it was whichever one is battle against the Soviet Union in the North Atlantic. And I always wanted to kind of pair up NATO, which is mostly a land war, air war over Europe, with the Second Fleet, which was the naval battle in the North Atlantic, which probably would have been going on at the same time in a real war, right? And I thought Second Fleet was even better. I thought it was really cool. But again, I could never get anybody to play these games with me. Whenever I looked in the Avalon Hill um, catalog, the thing that took up like a quarter of their catalog, maybe more, was this game called Advanced Squad Leader, which looked incredibly interesting to me, and I really wanted to try it. But again, I couldn't get anybody to play it with. I couldn't get. I knew I wasn't going to get anybody to play it with me, and it was very expensive because you get the base game and then there's a bunch of scenarios and stuff. It's squad level rather than being like division level, which is the way um, NATO and the Second Fleet and such are. And so I was really interested in trying that game, but I never got a chance to do it. Um, so anyway, this guy on YouTube, who's really awesome, he plays a lot of these sorts of games, not only Avalon Hill games. There are tons of companies that make these kinds of games, and I don't even know if Avalon Hill still exists. I don't know if they do. I feel like I read somewhere that they don't anymore, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so he's put out a lot of reviews of different board games, none of which I would buy because, as usual, I don't have anybody to play them with me. Nobody wants to play these games. They're really complicated. They take hours to play, and it's really hard to convince people to invest in that. Just like it's hard to get. Oh, did I just aggro these guys yet? It's hard to get people to play in your D&D game because of the time commitment that's required, right? And so. It's really hard to play these games in person. He actually has an entire video of the most soloable of these games. Some of them are meant to be solo. Some of them are fairly easy to solo. I remember on the back of the Victory Games and Avalon Hill Games boxes, they used to have a rating called Solitaire Suitability. How suitable is it to play solitaire? And I remember my mom saying, "But well, why are you looking for games to play solitaire? Why don't you, you want to play with your friends?" I'm like, "But Mom, I can't get them to play these games with me. They just don't. a huge commitment of time and energy and mental capacity to learn these games, and you have to really commit to them, and it's hard to get other people to commit, even just one other person, which is often all you need. So, um, man, all the missing. How many Assassin Strikes is that I've missed now? Um, so anyway, the same guy put out a video just a few days ago, I think, as of the time of this recording, which is late December, and he was reviewing PC games that are similar to these war games. And yeah, there are a couple of them. One or two of them that seem very similar to Advanced Squad Leader, that I'm interested in. And there's a Steam sale going on, and one of them, I try not to get games in early access, but guys, it was $3 for the base game, and then like the expansion modules were $4 each. The base game doesn't have a lot of replayability in it. It only has a few short scenarios to teach you the game, but the expansions have like 12 or 13 or 14 scenarios each or whatever. So I'm like, well, that sounds pretty cool. Even if each one only takes like an hour or two, for $4, that's like 12 to 24 hours of play. I'll take that. So I actually purchased a couple of them. I'm going to be trying them tomorrow, I guess. But I wanted to play some COH tonight. So yeah, there is a really cool Steam sale going on, and maybe it's probably done by the time I actually put this video out, so it won't help any of you, unfortunately. But yeah, always keep an eye on those sales. I'll say that. Okay, here's our second hostage. And yeah, as I was looking into this, somebody said, so this game is called Lock and Load, and one of the reviewers of the game said, this is a pretty cool game. It's no ASL, but I play it when either I don't have time for VASL, or I just want a shorter, easier game. Oh! I've got to turn my stealth off so that he can see me. Come on. We probably got an ambush coming, right? It's not showing on the map, but I'm sure we do. So I was like, what is VASL? And it turns out there's like virtual advanced squad leader. So I don't know if the game is still being published, but apparently there is a way to play it online, not like this, right? But if you've got a board and I've got a board, right, that, kind of like the way you could play chess remotely, if you have a board and I have a board and we tell each other the moves, and this kind of moderates that for you, I guess. Oh, you're going to be a pain in the neck, aren't you? All right, let me head out and just shoot him. So there used to be a program, I don't know if it still exists, for doing this kind of stuff called Cyberboard, where you could set up whatever kind of board you want, whatever counters you want, and then you could, play whichever board games you wanted. And I guess this is sort of the same idea. So if you can find somebody else, and you both have the rules and the board at your house or whatever, you can sign up for this virtual advanced squad leader and kind of swap your moves across the internet, just like playing play-by-mail chess, right? At least that's what I understood from what I read on the website. I just glanced at it quickly because I have no idea how to actually play Advanced Squad Leader because I never bought it. Again, I didn't think I could find anybody to play it, and it seemed very expensive, if I remember right. And I was in college, right? I didn't have a lot of money for this. So I could either buy, ask for Christmas for Second Fleet, which was like a $40 game, or ask for hundreds of dollars worth of Advanced Squad Leader. I was like, no, I'm not going to ask for that, and I'm not going to buy that myself. So I never did play it, but this looks interesting. It's, I guess, a simplified, but it is, a relative, or what's the word for it? Is similar game, stylistically It looks pretty cool. It looks like they actually, the company that makes Lock and Load, actually made a pretty faithful digital recreation of it. So you get the base game, and then you have scenarios. And the one guy who was talking about it, and he recommended this as number 7 or 8 pick of his top 15. And he said he thought it was really good. And he said, yeah, there's a lot of DLC, but you can just get the core rules and 1 or 2 scenario packs and have lots of hours of fun, and then just get more packs as the sales go, right? Which is what I did. I got a couple on sale. I think the regular price, non-sale price is like $5 for the base game and $10 for each DLC, which is still not too bad. I mean, I'm used to Paradox games where it's $60 for the base game and $30 for the DLC, right? So this is nothing like that. So anyway, he also has a video series where he shows how to play the board game, and he said we're going to be using this expansion pack. I can't remember the name of it, but I looked, and that exact expansion pack exists digitally. So it looks like the company is trying to put out the same exact packs digitally that they have in person, which is actually pretty cool. Most of the time when you get a video game version of a board game, it's made by a different company. It doesn't have every feature. It's got some features, but this looks like they're trying to be pretty faithful. I remember I never got the Gulf Strike, which was this theoretical, hypothetical. We need to find the scroll. This hypothetical war between, get this, and I thought it was so unrealistic, it was the U.S. and Iran as allies against the Soviet Union and Iraq. And I thought that would never happen. Why would we fight Iraq? Because at the time, we were kind of enemies with Iran. And we're still not friends with Iran, but since then there have been 2 Gulf Wars against Iraq. And so this was like the U.S. and several allies against the Soviet Union and Iraq. And I got it. I never got the board game because, again, I couldn't get people to play it. But I heard that was like one of the best ones. I don't know if I asked for it and my mother got me Second Fleet because she couldn't find Gulf Strike. I can't remember. But I eventually got a Commodore 64 version of Gulf Strike, and I played it once. It took me hours and hours to play. It seemed pretty faithful to the kind of games, The graphics were, nothing we would consider good today, but the main problem I had with it was the map was huge and wasn't zoomable, right? So it was like this. So it was very hard to get a full picture of where all the units were. And so it was very hard to like block their maneuvers and stuff because I couldn't figure out where they were going. And so I ended up losing, but it said that the computer won a Pyrrhic victory. And I had to actually look up what that meant. Of course, a Pyrrhic victory means a victory won at great cost because Pyrrhus, there's a totem. Pyrrhus won some victory in Greek history at great cost. All right, I'm going to pause it here, and then we'll attack this totem. Okay, sorry, my ear was itching me, and I just had to stop, and I knew it would make noise on the headphones. All right, we're going to fight the Totem of Materu. These guys are so cool looking, aren't they? Look how cool this guy is. Come here, you. Let's get you a nice position here so I can take a screenshot for the thumbnail. There we go. Those things are the coolest bad guys in the game. I just think they're so awesome looking. Alright, so we need to find the scroll. Don't know where they're keeping it. Yeah, so what other kinds of games do you guys like? Oh, I see the scroll. It's up here. Oh. What other games do you guys like? I mean, oops, let's scroll in. I know you like City of Heroes because you're watching this. And presumably, therefore, you like computer role-playing games or MMOs. Maybe both. Do you like tabletop role-playing games? And do you like other kinds of games? Do you like board games, tabletop games, war games, Monopoly? I've always been a huge board game fan. One of my great disappointments with my nephews is I could never get them interested in board games. I bought several for them. When I visit them for Christmas, I make them take them out and play with me, and they seem to enjoy them. But according to my sister, when I'm not there, they don't play the board games, which is kind of a shame. Also, they don't read much. I bought my nephew, my younger nephew, who's 12. I bought him two books about Japan because he's interested in Asian history. So I bought him two small, short books about Japan for sixth graders because he's in sixth, seventh grade. He's in seventh grade. I couldn't find his seventh grade book, so I got him. I told him I know those books are a little young for you, but like I couldn't find any that were seventh grade, so I got him a third to sixth grade book. He seemed to like them, but I also got him a gift card to Barnes and Noble, right? And so that was on. They got on Christmas Day. So the day I'm recording this, a few days later, my Christmas presents from them finally arrived, and so we zoomed together so I could open them, and he was showing me this puppet that he bought. And my sister was like, "Yeah, that's what he got with your gift certificate at Barnes and Noble. Hope you didn't expect him to buy a book with it." It's great. I really wish I could get them to read more. I have such a love of reading, and it's just such a disappointment to me that neither of them really have that. And I also had a really love of games, board games, role playing games, and stuff. And I haven't been able to get them interested in that kind of thing either. And I'm kind of disappointed in that because I figured, hey, I could teach my nephews this stuff and we could play it together, but I don't think they're interested. But I was thinking, at this point, the older one who's a teenager, and I see the glowy down there, we'll come back and get it. The older one who's a teenager, I could be playing City of Heroes with him, no problem. Even the younger one now, they have no interest. And that's sort of disappointing. Because I'd love to share this game with them and you know, impart this game onto them, and then we've got a whole new generation of City of Heroes players. But yeah, they're just not interested in this stuff. I guess there's a huge generational difference. We have to change 9 portals and change the altar. Are we getting an ambush? We changed the altar. So what we're doing is we're changing these things so that the banished pantheon cannot come through the portals. And I need to zoom in, don't I? There we go. So I think this will complete. I think this is the finale, but I'm not sure. Oh, another boss. Cool. Well, I always like fighting multiple bosses. These guys are cool and all, but I really like the totems better. These are actually tougher than the totems, but I think the totems look cooler. These guys are tougher because they have a much higher defense rating. They're harder to hit. Although in our case, we have such good buffs that we still have over 90% to hit them. I think some of them also debuff your 2-hit. Click. So yeah, if you guys like other kinds of games, which ones do you like? And if anybody's got some cool, oh look at this. If anybody has some cool strategy games like that are similar to things like Advanced Squad Leader or Lock and Load, I also got what is it? SGS Pacific D-Day. That was also on sale. And the main reason I left that boss, we'll come back to him, is because I don't have build-up ready yet. So I figure let's fight these guys while we're waiting. Yeah, so that was another one this guy recommended, and that also seems a lot like an Avalon Hill game. And it's interesting because there's the company, SGS is like, I don't know, some strategy gaming syndicate or something. I can't remember the name, what the name means, but they're a subsidiary of something called Avalon Digital, and I wonder if that's some sort of a descendant of Avalon Hill Games. I don't really know. And there's a portal. But that has several different scenarios and was recommended by other people on the forums. They have bigger games like the whole Korean War or the Battle for Okinawa or a huge chunk of World War, huge chunks of World War II rather than just individual battles like Iwo Jima or whatever. But several people recommended get the Pacific D-Day one because it has these shorter scenarios and you can learn how to play it and decide if you like it or not. I suspect I will like these games, but I don't know. They were on sale though, so I bought like, I don't know, several of these strategy games, whole games plus scenario and expansion packs for like $30, which is a pretty good deal. Now, we're only 78 to hit this guy, right? So he's got good defense, and of course he's +1 to us. But we should be okay. And there we go. Oh, one of the things I didn't point out, and I should have, in this energy drain, I said, well, it takes 13 endurance and you only get 25 back. Well, that's 25, I think, per target. Right? So if you target multiple guys, it's fine. So you don't want to do it to one enemy because it's not really gaining a lot. But if you're surrounded by 3 or 4 guys and you need endurance, you just go, and you should bring the endurance pretty far back. And you saw that the one time I used it. So we shouldn't have a lot of endurance problems with this character anymore because of this. It recharges, what, every minute? Yeah, so we're going to want to recharge that. But we don't need, I don't know that we need triple recharge enhancers on it because I doubt we're going to need endurance every minute. I just love being a Stalker. That huge lead you get on bosses. It just gives him so much less time to debuff me or attack me or do anything to me, which is awesome. So what do we have? 5 portals to go? Well, 4 after this one. Let's go back into our hide. It's interesting. These guys are no lieutenants or anything. I wonder why they're doing magic spells. They seem to be just zombies. I mean, I know it's just an animation, but... By the way, a really cool one. I love that visual effect that they're doing. It's very, very cool looking. So many visual effects in COH are awesome. And sound effects. This game has great effects for a 2004 game. Just great. I mean, I know some of the effects are newer. Like Energy Aura is not from 2004, but Dark Melee is, and it still looks great. Still looks amazing. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that cool? So this is radiation. I think these are radiation VFX. Radiation has really cool effects. I've never gotten around to playing a rad character. I should do that at some point. Radiation's cool. It's amazing how much I've played COH and how few of the power sets I've actually played to high levels. I've done Dark a bunch of times, right? Twice with Melee and once with the Dominator. I've done martial arts at least 3 times to level 50. Twice in live and once here in Homecoming. I've done Energy Melee, finally. It took me forever to do that. I've done Fire and Ice once. But I've never really done much with electricity, which has awesome VFX. I've never really done much with rad. I've never really done much with spines. I've wanted to and just never got around to them. I've done claws. I've done katana. I've done a lot of blades. Claws, katana, broadsword, I think. I'm not sure if I've done broadsword. Ninja blade. Katana and ninja blade. I've done both of those. They're very similar. I've done dual blades. Doing dual size, which is super awesome. That was one of my Stalkers in live. I loved doing that. I love dual blades. I should have done that with this character. I didn't even think about it. Dual blades is so awesome. Always love dual wielding. That's one of my favorite things. Where is this? Where is that? Oh, I see. I'm looking at where is this hallway? Okay, next level. I think we've... Wait! Have we cleared this level? Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Back up. That. I'm afraid we did not clear that. Let's check it. Yeah, there are so many good VFX in this game. And there's a sense in which I'd kind of like to play them all. No, we did not clear this, you see? Very important, because there might be a portal back here. And there are guys. I don't really care about them, but... Oh, there's a boss, too. And a portal, I hear it. So it's a good thing I came here, or we would have missed that. Where's the portal? Here it is. So while we're waiting for our Assassin Strike to recharge, we can clear the portal. 3 left. Back in hide. Let's see, we have our thing recharged. Let's see if there's a boss up here. Let's take him out first. Ah, here we go. Spellbreaker Hanuzeth. Quite the name, buddy. And down you go. +1 boss. Let's debuff your 2-hit. I like doing that. Yeah, they like to blow up, but if you hit them fast enough, they don't get a chance, because it takes them like a second or two. And that takes care of them, and there's a glowy. 2 portals left. You will not be able to summon the actual gods of your pantheon, buddies. Not at all. You know, I was thinking about this. I've said before that I would love to run ETU. One of the things I may say to my players is, if they don't want to do Lovecraft, they don't want to do ETU, how about doing a straight up regular or default basic horror game using Savage Worlds Horror Companion. It's very cool. I like the rules, and I love Savage Worlds, so I could do that. And I was thinking, well, I'd probably do something Lovecraftian or whatever, but I got this idea as I was thinking about the Scroll of Tielekku, and I was watching my one of my previous videos with the Banished Pantheon, Maeve's Wheel of Destruction. Now, my best friend knows this story arc, but I think that's okay. I thought, what if I run a horror campaign with the Banished Pantheon and actually run this sort of plot, right? A pantheon of Lovecraftian gods. You don't know who the gods are in this. You just see their servants. So I've got some cool minions and extras that I could create, right? The cadavers, right? The chambers and the shamans and the totems and everything. So I have, oh, like that guy, the guardian totem, right? I have that stuff. So I could potentially, you know, these guys would be wild cards, right? The Death Shaman, and they can summon things. I know what powers they would have because they're built right here in City of Heroes. And the investigators of the, you know, the party, they would start out with, you know, somebody's office being raided and this ancient scroll being taken, right? And it turns out that it's the scroll of Tielekku. And there's this pantheon of Lovecraftian gods. I don't even know if it would be the scroll of Tielekku. Maybe I'd name it something else. But I could have these guys as the servants, and then the gods would be Lovecraftian gods like Cthulhu and stuff, maybe. They have some of them statted out. Why did this guy summon? They have some of them statted out in the Savage Worlds Horror Companion, actually. So I could actually run this story arc as a mini campaign or whatever. I think it might be a lot of fun. I could also use, I'm working on a, right now I'm writing an actual straight up Lovecraftian modern day horror story. It's kind of a sequel to Shadow over Innsmouth. Kind of, not really. But it's, I realize we're coming up on the 100th anniversary of the date in which the events occur in the Shadow over Innsmouth. 2027 will be the 100th anniversary in July. And so I thought, well, what if the Deep Ones are planning to do something on that 100th anniversary? Like come back. And in the story, they imply that the Deep Ones were trying to bring a Shoggoth to Innsmouth. So what if they did? What if it's still there? So one of the things I was thinking for my I'm not doing this necessarily with my novel. I don't know what's going to happen with the novel because I'm discovery writing it, so I'm just seat of the pants, and I'm still in the beginning stages of it. It's only about 90 pages written, but I could totally imagine bringing my players there and having them fight a Shoggoth, which would be kind of cool. Although I don't know if you want to fight a Shoggoth. Shoggoths are pretty nasty. So I've been doing that, but I'm also planning to write a fantasy novel with a Lovecraftian pantheon of gods, and I've created a really cool pantheon, or at least I think it's cool. And I actually used the ideas from the and that's the end of the story arc. I used the ideas from the Silent Legions book by Kevin Crawford on how to build a Lovecraftian pantheon. I did my own thing with it, but he has got some really cool ideas. And I sort of used that as a base and then went my own way, and I've got a really cool... It's a group of like 8 or 10 gods. Some of them are related and some of them are just sort of extra. And they have some pretty interesting, what do you call it, profiles or whatever, that they... not like classical mythology, because Lovecraftian stuff is very weird and different. Alright, so we've completed the Scroll of Tielekku. We're halfway through level 26. And now we're going to finish the story arc for Mercedes. What do we got for enhancements? This is defense buff. There we go. So next level we will be hitting the upgrade button for most of this. We do want to put, we are going to want to buy probably a recharge enhancer on Siphon Life. And we'll also probably be doing an endurance reducer because we're going to get 2 more slots. And probably put a slot on energy drain because energy drain is going to be pretty good for us, I think. Alright, so let's go recover the Crown of Glory. Sorry for the disjointed nature of these story arcs because of that fluke where we couldn't find that last glowy. Fortunately, this episode we were able to find all the glowies. A lot of these are in Talos Island. I guess this place isn't very safe any more than Founders Falls. And there we go. So my guess is in the next episode we will get to level 27. So I probably will show you that even though we don't have story arcs, because I want to get to 27 and show you the enhancements and the upgrades. And then we're going to start paying attention to these recipes, because eventually these are going to start dropping at level 30 instead of level 25, and then they will be worth it. So we need to defeat Hector. Oh! I think this is that really tough mission where you fight boss after boss after boss. Okay, we're going to definitely need this endurance drain thing. Alright, let's clean this out then, because when the bosses come after you, you do not want ads. Ads being additional aggro, right? And additional enemies that come from a different spawn compared to the one you're facing. So let's clean this out. Are you coming after me? What's the story? Did he de-aggro? Well, he's dead now. Excellent. Ambush? Ah, yes. Okay, so placate. Placate. Glaucus. Is this guy some kind of a gull? Like the Glaucus winged gull? Wow, okay. This guy's pretty rough for a level 26 boss. Man, he's doing a lot of damage to me. Get him? There we go, okay. We definitely need to put a heal on... we put heal enhancers on Siphon Life. Alright, so let's hold off. If we're going to get ambushed by bosses, we want to be careful. I'm pretty sure this mission did in my claws regen Stalker multiple times. Because what happened is I got hit by one of the ambushes, I wasn't ready, it killed her. I think a second ambush might have already come in, so there were two bosses, or maybe one of the ambushes has multiple bosses. I think that might be the case. It killed her, right? I came running in. I thought the ambush was going to be back wherever I was killed, right? Several rooms south of here. And so I was just zooming back in super speed, and all of a sudden they caught me here and defeated me. And then when I came back, right, they were already here. So it's like they were running up to the entrance while I was coming back from the hospital. And so I did not expect them to be where they were. And they bloodied me. I think I had like 2 faceplants in that mission, and then I realized, okay, pop these Lux and go in with the defenses already ready. And they were right at the door, pretty much. Who hit me? Was it an ambush? Okay. We're just making sure. We have to be careful here because this is a pretty nasty one. Alright, take him out. There's a guy down there too we gotta take out. Are you kidding me, game? Again? Let's just go take this guy out and then we'll come back and get the other 2. We don't need that. We really could use some more health now. Heals, because we have this thing for when we need endurance. One of the things you have to watch with that is, as I said, you get more endurance based on the number of guys, that are surrounding you. A lot of times what happens is, when do you get tired? You get tired as you finish a spawn, right? So you're going to have to wait till the next spawn to pop the energize or whatever it's called, the energy drain, rather than popping it on this spawn as you're finishing it, and they don't. You only get like 25 endurance back instead of 50 or 75. Here comes an ambush. Okay. Okay, here he comes. Placate. That helps. See, the last guy, I don't think I got him with the Assassin Strike on the Placate. Got him. Much easier. And I wonder if one of the things that might have happened is one of the ambushes was live. I defeated somebody else, and then the second ambush came in while I hadn't fought the first one yet or something, because I didn't realize it was there, and maybe they got caught up on the geometry, which sometimes happens, and then by the time they got to me, the next ambush was already coming. So you got to watch out for those word balloons. Oh, I came in too fast. Because the word balloon should cue you in that, okay, there's somebody coming. Yeah, I think it was called Soul Drain was the AoE that has been replaced by our Assassin's Eclipse. And again, I think the reason they did that was... oh no, it's been replaced by Build Up. And I think the reason they did that is because you can't... you would want to do Soul Drain at the beginning of the battle to buff yourself, and you can't do that while you're assassinating, right? It wouldn't make any sense because it would reveal you. Alright, so now what I'm going to be doing is holding this build up for the bosses. Right? It's easy enough to fight these guys without the build up so that we have it for the boss. Assassin's Eclipse we can do because it's just 10-second recharge, but build up takes a minute plus, right? So, right, it takes minute 9. So we want to make sure that that's live for any ambushes so that we can really pound the boss. Because the built up, placated Assassin Strike did about 65% damage to that boss. And that's what we want to do. We don't want to fight him like the first boss. We only did a small chunk, like 25% damage to him, and that was not enough. Right? So then we had a long fight. And this character does not yet have the defenses to stand in there and go toe-to-toe in a long fight with bosses without that lead from the Assassin Strike. She will, right? But right now we only have about 32 defense. And the other problem is that these guys in particular... oh, shoot, I wasn't supposed to use build-up. I hope I don't suffer for that. These guys in particular, because they're doing these lethal attacks, a lot of their attacks are debuffing my defense, so you see it's going down. So the more they hit me, the more they hit me. Now, I can counteract it a little bit with the debuff that I'm giving them from punching them and stuff, right? But I don't think we can get up. Oh, we can get up here. But not enough to counteract multiple guys hitting me. I don't know what's going to trigger the ambushes. How did he see me? I don't know. Did I just walk up to him just as the hide engaged, maybe? I keep turning back to look for word balloons. I'm paranoid now because of those first two ambushes. Looking for word balloons, but I don't see any. Let's actually go here, I think. I have it set for, yes, NPC words. In the global, let's take off system. Let's remove that and put system in here. so that that's fine. So that I don't need to see this here. Oh, somebody's coming. Right? You see that? Oh, no, it's not. I thought that was at the bottom. No, so we don't have, but I'm going to keep an eye there. I'm going to keep an eye there so that I can additionally watch that one for possible ambush. Dark Phantom doing Odysseus's grunt work is only a matter of time before he attacks us directly. How am I doing his grunt work? I don't know where Hector is. This character really makes short work of spawns. I love that. When you think about how this character performs now, just compared to how she performed 3 or 4 levels, 4 or 5, I guess 5 levels ago at 21, it really is night and day. She's doing really well now. Like, look how fast she puts people down, and she doesn't even have all of her damage enhancers in. Right? Most of her powers don't have any damage enhancement on them. So you can imagine how fast she's going to put guys down when she has all the damage enhancers in place. Because right now she's just doing base damage for everything. Now they're recharging faster and she's got reduced endurance costs on them and stuff. But she's still doing base damage for everything except Assassin Strike. Which is why that one is so much our bread and butter. Let's go grab some endurance, actually. There we go. And let's grab some health. I love that these two power sets let you regain endurance and health. It's a really nice combo. And I think with Quintessence Lass, I think I eventually stopped carrying blues and even mostly stopped carrying greens, because if you can heal yourself like that, I mean, you should carry a couple of greens, because the healing is a 2-hit, right? You still have to hit them. I'm not sure if the is this thing automatically to hit? No, you have to put accuracy in that too. So we probably should put accuracy in that one. It's going to need to be 6 slotted, I guess. Don't use build up. We're going to need that later. I was trying to position myself to get them both, but missed. Okay, no more NPC talk. I'm fairly sure there's going to be more ambushes after we defeat Hector, but I might be wrong about that. There's Hector. I don't know why he's by himself, that guy, but here's Hector. Alright, I'm going to use these two, but I'm not going to use a luck because I think we're going to get ambushed after this. But we'll see. I haven't actually found the Crown of Glory. See, we missed with that Siphon Life, so that doesn't heal you. Found a clue. Okay, I think there's ambushes coming now. Paris, aid me. Don't put on the crown, it will control you. So it's interesting, with some of these it usually says try and get out. But it didn't say that this time. I don't see Paris coming. And I didn't see a glowy. Oh, here they are. Okay, so there's 2 bosses, 3 bosses, something like that. This is brutal. Look at this. Alright, we got him. We've completed the mission. But now we have to get out, right? Alright, no, I'm getting out. Getting out. You don't have to defeat them, so we're just going to get out. That is a heck of an ambush. And so I think what happened with Tiger Strike is I just didn't realize... Whoops. No, come on. Go up. I just didn't realize that I was getting hit by... I think I tab targeted a minion, and I didn't realize I was getting hit by like 2 or 3 bosses at once. That is quite the ambush, guys. Wow. Okay, so we have completed all of Mercedes' story arcs, and we got a recharge enhancer. This is nice. This is great. Yeah, let's put it on that one. We're gonna need an accuracy on energy drain, I think, to start with. No, that. Okay. Let us go sell our enhancements, and we'll take a look at how much influence we have now as we lead our way into level 27. So I think, guys, what I may do... how are we doing on time? Don't hit me. We're at an hour, so we're going to stop. But I think what I may do is just pick a contact that's got a story arc I want, get us to level 27. When I hit 27, I'll do this tomorrow. I'll bring you guys back and show you how we upgrade, and we'll keep track of how much influence it costs to get a full set. It'll be pretty easy to calculate because it's just going to be the upgrade button. Let's see if, as we start getting into higher levels, I do check the auction house to see if these recipes, why is only one of them, why am I only able to sell one of them? I don't know. Okay, 1.5 million, 150,000. I mean, okay. I mean, let's put it up for, I don't know, 75,000 and see if anybody wants it. Oh, yeah, okay. 300,000, I'll take that. And then can we sell this one? So what is this one? Hang on. This is a resist damage set. I'm probably not going to... Oh, this is a PvP one. Oh, yeah. We don't want to... I don't want that. We don't need the PvP stuff, but it's super valuable. So PvP must still be going on the server. So let's put this up for like 1 million. I don't need to be greedy. And we'll see what we get for it. We sold it for 4.6 mil. Guys, we have 10 million now. And then this thing... Ranged AoE damage, we don't even do that, so we can put that up for 1 million and sell that for 4.6 million, and we now have 14 million influence, guys, by selling recipes that I don't even care about. So yeah, that's why I start checking. When you get the orange recipes, it's worth checking, because sometimes, especially if they're PvP bonuses, for some reason people scarf them up. So even though it seems like PvP isn't that active on every server, and maybe not on any server, it's active enough that people still are paying millions and millions of influence for PvP-based sets. So my thing is, if it says PvP on it, I put it up for sale. Because I'd rather get one of the non-PvP ones for like a quarter of the price, right? For $1.5 million per recipe instead of 5 million per recipe. I mean, I'll sell 6 recipes for 5 million, get 30 million, and then buy 6 for 2 million, and I'm 18 million up, you know. So that's my way of doing it. Anyway, we're not worrying about sets with this character until after the 40s. So we have tons of influence, we're going to easily be able to upgrade. Like, we have so much influence, we could literally upgrade our enhancements every level and keep them always at +3. I don't see the need to do that. We're doing just fine on our yellow enhancements, and next level they'll be green again. So, I don't see the need to do that. When we hit 32nd level, hopefully we'll start being able to slot in a bunch of generic IOs, but we'll just do that as we get them. Until next time, guys, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been Soloing the Stalker on City of Heroes.